And alrighty then, we have the new Banlist coming in from the OCG. And darn oh darn, this is very strange, but also good, but it doesn't really fix the problems that Yugioh has. But the problem that Yugioh has right now is very complicated and very deep-seated. But let's go to the Banlist right now. The Forbidden Kashtira Fenrir. Yay, oh yay. So Kashtira Fenrir, without a doubt, is the best Kashtira main deck card in the entire deck. It truly is. And with Fenrir being gone, Kashira, I do believe, is somewhat kind of dead. It really is, in my opinion. But also, what the most important part of this really is the fact that people are using Kashtira Fenrir as sort of an engine to go into Rice Heart. So with Fenrir being banned, you gotta use something else like Kashtira Unicorn. And I don't think the U community right now are at a point where they really want to have Unicorn in their main deck just so they can go and summon out a Rice Heart. A Rice Heart is a problem card. I get it. They should have. Here's the thing, I believe. I think if they really wanted to stop Cashier from being that much of a problem, they most definitely should have just banned a Rice Heart and then release a brand new Cashier boss monster so the Cashier deck is still playable but not completely unfair. But I am happy with Fender being banned. I think we're going to see a lot less Rice Hearts coming in towards the future. We're seeing right now in the TCG that although a Rice Heart is still being played, we're seeing Vanquish Soul, we're seeing Brandespia, we're seeing Labyrinth, we're seeing Trap Chicks, we are seeing Dynamorphia, we're even seeing like Marincess get involved within the competitive scene and have some competitive success. So I'm happy that Fender is finally banned in the OCG. Will we see this in the TCG? Maybe. I expect Fenrir to be at best limited. Really, I think it's gonna be limited in the next TCG balance when it comes up in maybe 4 months from now. The super heavy samurai stuff being banned, limited, or semi-limited, which we will see here in this list, I don't really get it all that much. No one wants to play against Super Heavy Samurai because it's an Adderall all gas deck. If any of you guys know how the old Pendulum stuff used to work, where people are just gonna throw out as much as they can, like like if you've seen like any Triff gaming video, is like he makes these pendulum boards, like these meme boards, that's like you summon like as much monsters as you can. You summon like 20, 30 monsters, use up your entire extra deck, and next thing you know, you have like 20 negates. Like that's what Super Heavy Samurai it kind of is, except they have one card combos, and they have the versatility to be able to play a bunch of hand traps and tech cards. So Super Heavy Samurai is an objectively really strong, powerful deck, but it isn't overpowered. No one wants to play against it, but I do believe it is a very fair deck. And it being hit on this list here doesn't make that much sense to me because of how not overly strong or how it lacks just overall representation. Because the OCG is a lot more diverse and a lot more balanced than what is in the TCG. And the TCG right now is incredibly balanced. So to see this list here, I'm just really confused about. Cyberstein being banned, yes, because any deck that uses Cyberstein is using it for the wrong reasons or doing something really bad with it. Same thing also applies for Smoke Grenade of the Thief, where if you're playing these two cards, you're doing something that's not fun interactive. For Pal Monkey Board, really you can unlimit all the Pendulum cards and nothing wrong or bad is going to happen, except for a bunch of dudes going to the locals like me and being like, Pendulum best deck, let's go. Mathematic Circular is a card that is clearly very, very, very strong and busted and has near anime levels in terms of like kooky effects. But Mathmech, once again, is a super fair deck. The reason why people don't like it, like Joshua Smith don't like it, is because Mathmech is a solved deck. And because it's a solved deck, you can't really experiment with it. You can try to experiment with it, but you're then straying away from the well-established, well-accepted formula of Mathmex. And with Mathmex Circular being limited to one, it might make the deck a little bit more interesting. Soul Piercer being limited, don't really get it. MX Saber Invoker, no one has ever complained about MX Saber Invoker being a problem. It being limited to one, I don't get it. Pearly Sleeping Memory. So Pearlies and Kashtiras are in that weird place right now, which we've kind of seen with the past two major big sets from Yugioh, from Konami. It's that we've seen Tear Elements be hit hard. We see Sprite in its initial run, the OCG, being hit hard. We see Kashtira being hit hard immediately. We're seeing Runix already getting kind of hit hard. It's just like whatever new deck comes in, immediately power creeps the game. And then once you buy and settle into those really strong decks, those same strong cards and decks end up being limited or hit in the list. And we're seeing Pearly get to that point now. And for Pearly, I never considered that broken or unfair. It was considered the best deck in all the OCG, but then things kind of changed with it. And the TCG, no one expects Pearly to be the tier 1 deck, maybe at best tier 2. So I'm confused that they're not really pushing Pearly to be all strong. Pearly is like one of those decks that's like the idea of Pearly and the fear of potentially playing it comes from you watching a YouTube video that makes the deck seem really strong when it really isn't. Pot of Prosperity, I'm happy with the limit of Pot of Prosperity. I think what Konami is trying to do right now is they want to diversify, or they want to make the formulas of deck profiling be a lot more diverse and a lot more creative. The thing with Pot of Prosperity is definitively the best pot card in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! It's the best one, and almost everybody is running 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity because there's no downsides to it if you're going first. There's none. And so for Pot of Prosperity to be limited to 1 means that there is room for people to be a little bit more creative in their deck building process. Runic Fountain, nobody likes Runics. Nobody likes them. Nobody. Master Duels, hated. TCG, hated. OCG, no one cares about it or likes it or has fun playing against it. Seriously, be gone with you. Runics should have never been made. Semi-limited Armageddon Knight. Armageddon Knight is a strong card that is very good for Phantom Knights. And for Phantom Knights, they're so confusing to me. We're like, Phantom Knights has all the tools to be the best deck, but it never is. And maybe semi-limiting Armageddon Knight might make it better. Who knows? Super Heavy Samurai Bike being semi-limited. Not sure about that. Prank Kids Meow Meow Mew. Meow Meow Mew. Prank Kids is a really strong tier 1 deck that had to work its way up into being tier 1. And then it finally got hit, and now you're simulating Meow Mew. Good. Block Dragon is a card. Okay, so Advanced Spirit has such a weird history where the idea and the version of Advanced Spirits that we have in our heads or in the community's minds is a lot better than what it actually was in real life. When Block Dragon Emancipators was a thing in the TCG, which sadly happened during the pandemic, so we never had a really strong indicator of how good Emancipators were. But Emancipator Block Dragon, there were so many YouTube videos out there and theory discussions, and the ceiling, it's kind of like DDDs, where like the hypothetical ceiling version of DDDs and Emancipator Block Dragon was so high that it kind of clouded our judgment as to how actually good it really is. Because if you show someone who doesn't play Yu-Gi-Oh! All that much in the competitive scene, and you show them what an Emancipator combo video looks like, or a DDD combo video looks like, they'll be like, oh my gosh, wow, this is so good, whoa. But DDD's lost to Trident Pass and Beatrice Pass. Block Dragon lost to Set Conquistador, Eldritch Conquistador Pass. Like, that... No, it just wasn't really a thing where Advanced Block Dragon was that strong deck that we thought was tier 1, tier 0, but in actuality was the 4th, maybe 5th best deck. So semi-limiting Block Dragon, good. I think it's unlimited right now in the Master Duels format. And Emancipators, while good, it still isn't like the deck they gotta be in fear of. It really isn't, due to so many board-breaking cards and it being a best one. Ancient Fairy Dragon being unlimited, good. Summer Gazelle should have been unlimited 2 years ago. Sorry, just Skull Dread. I am shocked and surprised because this card is not being used anymore other than the weird, dumb FTK strategies in TCG. Skull Dread was overused in OCG. I get it. That's why it was banned for a while or limited. Turn up Ptolemaeus. You use it to go into Cyber Dragon Infinity. You can't really. People aren't really afraid of Sky Cyber Dragon Infinity anymore. Blackwing, Steam the Cloak. Hockey Fireworks is gone. No one plays Blackwing except in Master Duels. Thunder Dragonhawk. The reason why Thunder Dragonhawk was hit in the list initially before was because Thunder Dragons was tier 0 in the OCG. But they're not anymore, and OCG right now isn't incredibly diverse. Even at full power, with Colossus being around, Thunder Dragons is not a tier 1 or tier 2 level deck in the OCG, and that same logic applies that if you brought those decks over to TCG, with it being completely unlimited, it really wouldn't do much. It really wouldn't. Fire Formation Tanky. The reason why it was limited to 1 at one point within the game's history in both the TCG and in the OCG was because people were playing Tri-Brigade a lot. And Tri-Brigade is a really strong deck. But people are tired of playing Tri-Brigade to the point that we don't even care about complaining about how good Tri-Brigade Revolt even is. So, Tri-Brigade, strong deck, no one plays anymore. You can bring back Fire Formation Tanky. People are still not going to be motivated to go play Tri-Brigade, even though it is good. Nadir Servant, Dogmatica Shaddolls was a problem. Not anymore. Spellbook of Judgment, Spellbook were a problem a decade ago, not anymore. So that is the list, the semi-limited, unlimited, limited, and ban list, forbidden list For the OCG, how will this translate to the TCG? Well, the game right now, people have always been complaining that like diversity is the hallmark for how healthy a game is. And right now, in both the OCG and the TCG, it is at its most diverse it has ever been, which means the game is at a healthy state. But it is not healthy in the competitive level, and the reason why it is unhealthy in the competitive level is because of the diversity. There are just way too many options for competitive players to look into, and because of that, there are just some inconsistencies that happen. Now, still, if you're a good player in Yu-Gi-Oh, you're probably going to top. Like Pack, Jesse Cotton, Joshua Smith, like Yugioh McNabb, Kyle Waterbury, all those guys will still top if they actually are good in the game. And they are good in the game, and they still, right now, continue to go and top in the game. I like the balance that players who are good in the game will continue to top while also lowering the barrier for entry for new players to be able to jump in and get their first ever tops. I think to me that is a healthy format. A lot of competitive players don't like that. A lot of competitive players seem to appear to gatekeep the barrier for entry for people to get into competitive, like kind of like MBT. A small jab there, but I think the format as it is right now is incredibly healthy. I don't know what the balance is or what I can predict off the next CCG Banlist is. Maybe we're going to see a limit to 1 of Cashier Fenrir. That's my guess. I think we're going to see unlimits for Perform Power Monkey Board. I think that's going to be the thing. I think the Pot of Prosperity and Runic Fountains being limited can also be a real thing happen in the TCG. Not because they're overly strong, but I think just because I think Konami really is pushing for diversity and creative deck building formulas happening for both the OCG and the TCG. Once again, I'm the Siopao guy. This is the Banlist for the OCG. Feel free to like and subscribe if you want it. You totally don't have to want to do so, but really cool if you did. And so until next time, see y'all laters, and have fun.